Chapter 27, 911, 911, Get Out of the House, late February 2003. On February 28th, my cell rang. Timmy, JJ, Pops, and I were hanging out at the Phoenix UC house on Romney Road. Yeah, Burr, get the fuck out of the house right now. It was Slats. He sounded scared. Slats never sounded scared. I twirled my finger through the air like a little tornado. Everyone got up, grabbed their weapons, and ran outside. I followed, pressing the phone to my ear. What's up? Don't have time. Get to the patch right now. Watch your asses. We already out the door. We'll see you in 15. We piled into the Cougar. I turned the engine on and peeled out. We drove in circles a little to make sure that we weren't being followed. We pulled into the patch's office park and went around back. Bay doors were open and we pulled in. They closed behind us. Slats paced. He spat into a can. I lit a smoke. Slats said, "Come on." As we made our way to the conference room, he told us what was going on. DEA's got a snitch associated with the Phoenix charter. His handler called up about a half hour ago and told me that Chico put a hit squad together and that they were on their way to Romney to smoke you guys. He was talking about Robert Chico Mora, the Phoenix Angel that Mesa Mike had warned me of over a year ago. I asked, why the fuck Chico want to smoke us? That asshole in Tijuana, Alberto. Apparently he's talking about you. I heard a little bit of this. Our receptions in Mexico had been generally warm and easygoing, but there were always guys who rocked the boat. Alberto was with the Solo's vice president. He'd always given us the cold shoulder. I assumed he had some bad blood with Rudy that went back years and was never going to give us the benefit of the doubt. We chose to ignore it, hoping it would stay in Mexico. It hadn't. Slat said Alberto was complaining that we'd muscled our way into the club, had never prospected, and weren't legit. He spoke the truth. Somehow this had gotten back to Chico. We didn't know what to do. SOP in a situation like this was to pull the operatives. Mortal and imminent danger was not tolerated or risked. If there was a slight but variable chance any of us would be killed, then that was that. Cricket and Slats thought the case was dead. They started to discuss whom they could arrest with what we had, but I wasn't so sure we would get out of it. We had plenty of evidence that corroborated our Solo Angel's backstory. It was just a matter of getting it to the right guy as soon as possible. That's when my phone rang again. Yeah, Burr. Everyone in the room was silent. Burr, it's Bob. His voice sounded deeper, more serious. What's up, Bob? We need to talk. What about? He cut to it. You're a real Solo, right? What the fuck you talking about, Bob? I know you're really a Solo. He sounded convinced in an unconvincing way. Fucking right I am. What's going on? We need to talk. It's very urgent. Okay, be alone. Okay. We agreed to meet at a sports bar on Baseline, a place we'd never been to, in 1 hour. The entire team stuffed up with armor and grabbed their long guns. An advanced team got to the bar quickly. They took their places and waited. Sat at the bar and did crosswords, feigned watching games on the TVs. Timmy and Pops were in the surveillance van. Timmy was armed to the teeth. If things broke bad with Bob, I'd likely be fine. Still, I didn't have a good feeling about the meeting. Before leaving the patch, Slats helped me put together an impromptu package of Solo credentials, photos and video news footage from the December toy run, dues receipts, photos of Pops and Rudy in the Tijuana clubhouse, random flash we picked up. We talked dialogue, Slats role-playing Bob, me in a role. We'd sell our case to Bob like we'd sell a crime to a prosecutor. Physical evidence, historical evidence, and an argument for our position. Breaking character, I asked Slats if he thought Bob was trying to prove to his brothers where his real loyalties lay. If he thought Bob might be taking this opportunity to take me out. We all knew that as I went, so the Solos went. Slats said he wasn't sure, and if I didn't want to meet with Bob, I didn't have to. That meant the end of the case. I said, fuck that. He said, okay, then let's get out of here. I drove the Cougar and consumed half a pack of cigarettes. I was openly scared and not proud of it. I called my old buddy Chris Bayless. He talked me down and gave me the old Jesus hates pussy speech, finishing just as I pulled into the parking lot. I went in and walked to the bar. 5 minutes later, a haggard, bad Bob loped through the door. He looked around as he approached me. He said gravely, let's get a booth. We made our way to a quiet corner of the bar and sat down. I put my hands on the table and laced my fingers together. My rings. They meant something to me. In an instant, they reflected all that I'd lied about, all that I'd come to personify, all that I'd risked. I decided to ignore them. but not before I asked them to protect me. Bob talked about what was going on. I acted shocked. I didn't deny the charges that we muscled our way in, but I insisted that we were legit. You guys got it wrong, Bob. I don't know how else to say it. You understand what you're saying? Yeah, I don't mean any disrespect, and I'm not calling them liars. It's just that they got bad info. We're legit solos, Bob. We've been doing everything right by you guys. You think it'd be any different with my own damn club? I don't know shit about your club, Bird, other than you guys. Well, we're real, man. Believe it, we're real. Look, I showed him the photos. I gave him the videotape of the news shows, and I told him to watch it. I showed him the dues receipts and the flash we picked up in Tijuana over the months. T-shirts, stickers, patches. I wrote down teacher's number and told him to call him and ask him if we were real. Look, Bird, I want to believe you, he paused. I do believe you, but I'm in a bad spot. I gotta call Joni, John Caldestat, the Phoenix Charter P. I gotta call Joni, John Caldestat, the Phoenix Charter P. I gotta call Joni and tell him you're alright. A guy none of us have known longer than a year. And Chico's wrong, a guy I've known for 2 decades. How you think that looks? I agreed that it didn't look good, but I insisted with expletives that I was telling him the truth. He said, let's go outside and have a smoke. I said, yeah, let's. My confidence rose a little. The bar had a big back porch. No one was out there. Bob got out a pack of cigarettes and fumbled with it while pulling out a smoke. When he went to put the pack away, he couldn't figure out which pocket to put it in. First, the outside left breast, then the right, then finally the left inside. The tip of his cigarette was shaking as it glowed orange. Bad Bob was nervous. My confidence went back to the tank. Fear fell on me like a 10-foot wave. I hadn't been so scared in years. Bob stepped to the edge of the porch and ushered me to the corner. I was completely exposed in 3 directions. I hate these kind of situations, Burr. I hate them. I fought back a shaking voice and answered hard. I don't like them either. These are the kinds of situations where people get hurt. Bad. You know, I know, but listen. He waved his hand through the air. I shut up. I thought he just green-lighted some sniper to remove my head or hollow out my chest. I thought, Jay, you're dead. No, listen, Bird. I know you're used to fighting for your life. That's all I do. He didn't know how true that statement was. I know, that's all men like us ever do. But what I'm saying is you ain't never had to fight us. Am I right? Yeah, you're right. He smoked deeply. He turned and walked to the other end of the porch. That was it. Head explodes. Chest caves in. Air sucks away. He walked back. I'ma call Joni and tell him you're good. Exhale. Good. Thanks. I'm not doing you any favors, understand? Of course. I'm doing this because I know you ain't shitting me. I know, I ain't. But you need to do a couple things for me. Anything. No colors till I say your Arizona privileges are hereby revoked. I wasn't happy about that, but I said okay. You need to clear this shit up, Bird. Motherfuckers cannot be talking shit about their own like this. Fuck. We take better care of you than your own damn club. It was true, I said. Don't worry, it'll go away. And I know you look out for us, Bob. I can't thank you enough. He mumbled, fucking motherfuckers. Bob was insulted that the solos had insulted me. I was too. He dialed Joni and told him to back off. He said he'd bring over the stuff I'd given him, the photos, the tape, everything, and that they talked to this teacher motherfucker. We went back inside. I paid the tab. We walked to the exit. We shook hands solemnly and parted. I knew I just saved the case. I pulled a rabbit and a goose and a snake out of my hat, then fed the rabbit to the snake and watched as the goose laid a golden egg. I'd snowed one of the most influential Hells Angels in the state of Arizona, and it was exhilarating. I suddenly wasn't scared. I lost all my insecurity. I was invincible. I debriefed with Slats in his car outside the patch. It was just the 2 of us. He handed me a beer, opened one for himself, downed it, and opened another. That sucked, he said. No shit. No, I mean, it wasn't that good. You sold it better at the patch. I couldn't believe it. I said, frankly, Joe, I couldn't remember what we said at the patch, but it worked, didn't it? We'll see. You put a band-aid on this fucker. We'll see if it heals. It will. You know Bob will make that happen. I fucking hope so. It will. He drank half of his beer in 2 gulps. But shit's gotta be better going forward, Jay. I can't take this fly-by-night stress anymore. You gotta stay on the program. When the fuck did I go off it, Joe? You go off it every fucking day, Jay. Every damn night we say, tonight's the night, Dobbins goes off the res and we end up doing a rescue mission. We're taking fucking bets on it, Jay. That was news to me. The fuck, Joe? One day it's give me more, the next day it's ease up. Which way you want me to go? I'm giving everything I got, Joe, and I can't think of how to give more. This is where I operate. You knew that going in. It's why you hired me. Listen, Jay, I know you're under a lot of stress, but it's nothing compared to what I deal with. I hired you, but I can pink slip you too. Excuse me? He took a deep breath. The fact is, you're 10% of this picture. You and JJ and Timmy and Pops, a crucial 10%, but only 10%. I have to deal with all of your shit, plus all of the evidence, all of the surveillance, all of the tech issues, all of the money, all of the approvals, all of the protocols, all of the personalities. I have to massage everyone's balls above me and rub everyone's backs below me. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I lit a cigarette. It was like slats and interrupted a pass intended for me, and now I was playing defense. Joe, you may be dealing with 100% of this, but you're not working any harder than I am. You're not freaking redlining any more than I am. And you get to go home at night and sleep in a bed with your wife, and your kids are sleeping down the hall. You have any idea the last time I spent every night of the week with Gwen and the kids? I can't count that fucking high. No, instead, I get to sleep in a shithole undercover house, and half the time our marks are crashing in the living room. While you're sitting there counting money and typing reports, I'm sitting face to face with a guy who, if he finds out who I am, I'm going to get smoked. So I don't want to hear how fucking hard it is for you. I opened the door, got out, and slammed it shut. I threw my empty beer can as far as I could. I couldn't figure out what had gotten in the slats. So I gone off script. I was having a fucking conversation, for crying out loud. You can never predict what the other guy is willing to say or do. I had to react on the fly. That was my damn job. It took a long time for me to cool off. I had a hard time understanding where Slats was coming from. I eventually concluded it was all about control. He felt that if I kept increasing my unpredictability, the reins of Black Biscuit would be taken from him. I didn't care about that. It was my case, and as far as I was concerned, he could go to hell.